The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew.
Glory to you, O Lord.
The book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac, and Isaac the father of Jacob, and Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers, and Judah the father of Perez, and Zerah by Tamar, and Perez the father of Hezron, and Hezron the father of Ram, and Ram the father of Aminadab, and Aminadab the father of Nahshon, and Nahshon the father of Salmon, and Salmon the father of Boaz by Rahab, and Boaz the father of Obed by Ruth, and Obed the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of David the king. And David was the father of Solomon by the wife of Uriah, and Solomon the father of Rehoboam, and Rehoboam the father of Abijah, and Abijah the father of Asaph, and Asaph the father of Jehoshaphat, and Jehoshaphat the father of Jerome, and Jerome the father of Uzziah, and Uzziah the father of Jotham, and Jotham the father of Achaz, and Achaz the father of Hezekiah, and Hezekiah the father of Manasseh, and Manasseh the father of Amos, and Amos the father of Josiah, and Josiah the father of Jeconiah and his brothers at the time of the deportation to Babylon. And after the deportation to Babylon, Jeconiah was the father of Shealtiel, and Shealtiel the father of Zerubbabel, and Zerubbabel the father of Abiud, and Abiud the father of Eliakim, Eliakim the father of Azor, and Azor the father of Zadok, and Zadok the father of Akim, and Akim the father of Eliud, and Eliud the father of Eleazar, and Eleazar the father of Matthan, and Matthan the father of Jacob, and Jacob the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom Jesus was born, who is called Christ. So all generations from Abraham to David were 14 generations, and from David to the deportation to Babylon, 14 generations, and from the deportation to Babylon to Christ, 14 generations. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Dear brothers and sisters, the Gospel of the day, taken from the Gospel of St. Matthew, presents the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. The names in it sound too obscure, their pronunciation beyond comprehension. But still, we must realize that in the genealogy is buried the marvelous working of God's grace and His amazing providence. There are two accounts of genealogy in the Gospels. St. Matthew, which starts with Abraham, Luke, which starts with Adam. Matthew traced the family line through Joseph, Luke traced it through Mary. This was because Gospel of Matthew being written to the Jews in order to show that Jesus, descending from the Father who belonged to the line of King David. However, the genealogy mentions some notorious individuals, such as Tamar, who disguised herself as a prostitute, Rahab, a Gentile. She helped again the Jewish spies, disguising herself as a prostitute, then Ruth, another Gentile, and the wife of Uriah, though the Gospel does not mention her name, Bathsheba, who suffered abuse by King David. It shows that God can write straight with crooked lines. It gives us hope and strongly reminds us that God truly immersed himself in our sinful humanity, and he is also close to us. The genealogy also speaks to us that God cares for everyone. And another important observation that we need to make is towards the end, when the passage is concluded, it reads, "So all the generations from Abraham to David were 14 generations. And from David to the deportation to Babylon, 14 generations. And from the deportation to Babylon to the Christ, 14 generations." Now, in the Jewish tradition, numbers are very important. For example, 3 and now 7. When somebody in the culture, Jewish culture, wanted to say it 100% the truth or anything, they would say 3 times. And even in the teachings of Jesus, we hear that, "Truly, truly, I say to you," 3 times. And also, number 7 plays a very important role. Number 7 stands for fullness, complete. 7 days of creation. One example. And so, when we read here, Abraham to David, 14 generations. How many 7s? There are 2 7s. And from David to the deportation of Babylon, how many 7s? Another 2. And from the deportation to Babylon to the Christ, another 14 generations. How many 7s? Another 2. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th one, the first 7, is Christ. He is the firstborn of all creation. He is the one. He is the one. And so it's very interesting to read, though many of us don't prefer to read this particular passage because it's a bit confusing, not so interesting. However, as we have read the gospel passage today, let us remind ourselves that Jesus is the culmination of God's preparation of this world to receive him as King of the universe, King of peace. And he is with us. In the Eucharist, he humbles himself and he is going to come to us in a very intimate way. Let us welcome him. Let us thank God for his humility, and let us also imbibe the virtue of humility in our life so that we too immerse ourselves in humanity and serve God, serve